So this is the Instructional Technology Coordinator team here in the School District of Waukesha, and we are focusing on and talking about our Spotlight Model Tech classrooms and how they are helping us to promote best practices with the use of technology in the classroom. All right, so the first thing that we were thinking about when we were talking about developing a Model Tech classroom, or really the problem that we were trying to solve, was trying to get people to buy into a vision of how technology could really move forward, help support instruction in the classroom, and help support student learning. So what we've learned, whether through the survey data, the technology profile data that we look at, whether just talking to leaders, talking to teachers, is that those teachers who feel discomfort with tech often are the ones who struggle to apply it to meaningful use in their classroom. It's not something that they necessarily embrace themselves, and so as a result of that, they have a hard time making the connections between how that tech can actually help their students to show what they know, develop a voice, collaborate, create those sorts of activities. And if we look at the larger context, this is the TPAC framework, where we talk about the different areas that make for solid instruction in the 21st century. We've always had a need for people to be focused around content. And teachers who have a lot of content knowledge are certainly valued in the work that they do. We know this because we have things like math and literacy coaches who teach content instruction. We have things like AVMR training or model literacy classrooms that help to spread the vision of how having a really solid foundation of content is a value add to classroom instruction. We also know that we have teachers with strong pedagogical knowledge and practice are valued and really play a huge role in the classroom. We know that we share best practices around this kind of knowledge when we think about things like AVID and model classrooms for AVID, Project GLAD strategies, those strategies that really connect with students and help hammer home the key ideas and help develop learning. In the day and age we teach now, though, we also know that there's another component, the technological component. It has impacted every facet of our lives, and it is an important part of instruction in the classroom and preparing students for the future. Up till now, we haven't had a good framework or a good vision that we can spread of how technological practice can be best used in the classroom. What we're really aiming for is this intersection of all three. That's kind of the sweet spot of instruction where we would like to be. And we think Model Tech classrooms and a SAMR framework will give us some vision to help those who maybe are having a hard time connecting with technology and its use in the classroom in their own classrooms. As always, we're talking about the SAMR framework, and while we're all familiar with the SAMR framework at this point, we just want to reiterate our goal is moving to that modification level where the technology doesn't just enhance instruction in the classroom, but it really begins to transform instruction, allowing for teachers to redesign tasks in their classroom that reach at higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy, that allows students to really develop a voice, show what they know, engage in more rigorous tasks, and simply just engage in the instruction and find it meaningful and authentic. So if we're looking at our goals for our Model Tech classrooms, it's that we have a visible vision for everybody in the district to be able to see, and outside of the district to be able to see where they can engage with how the technology can move instruction forward, again aiming for that modification level, and then also spreading of best practices. So when we have a vision that's out there, how do we let those best practices for meaningful tech use spread from teacher to teacher? And that's our goals for the Model Tech classroom.
And in creating that framework, we had to create some, what we're calling our rules of engagement. What does it take to become part of the Model Tech program? In that framework, we were looking at what we wanted to do to get started. And the program kind of started out more as a selection process with us asking others to come along with us for the ride and participate. We're now moving to a more formalized process of an application to do that, and looking to other key players for who should be selected or be a part of that Model Tech classroom. The key practice here is really looking at coaching and growing. We have an initial meeting to see if the person is interested, if they're willing to partake in the process and participate in all of the requirements that we have with it. Then they meet with the ITC person It's a SAMR focus. It's based on continuous reflection. We have a blog that you'll see a little bit later where we really ask them to kind of reflect and record that process so that teachers are seeing it don't just start out as a model tech classroom. It's not always perfect, but get that growth in there as well. We are also looking at validating the people who are a part of this process with that embedded SAMR thinking, visits from other coordinators and leaders to see that the process is going well in the classroom, and also some formal recognition within our district. The end goal is to have visitation available and have those teachers open their doors to others from the district or outside to come see what that looks like when the tech is embedded in the classroom and when it is and isn't used. Our end goal, hopefully, is to have a site visit calendar where you could select a time to have somebody from your staff go view and see the Model Tech classroom in action and be able to focus on maybe some of the same kinds of practices you're trying to enhance in your building. I won't read this entire screen to you, but these are the things that we are looking for when we look to select another staff member to work with us as a Model Tech classroom. Notice that we are really working on them developing their own learning network, having a growth mindset, but still really looking at the technology in SAMR and how that embeds in their classroom. We began on February 1st, 2016 with Brian having the very first teacher meeting. In the process, we currently have 8 teachers who are working to become Model Tech classrooms. You don't necessarily start there. It is a growth process. And we would definitely say in our start with the staff, we haven't necessarily just chosen the techiest person to get started. So they are working on becoming comfortable with the idea of having others visit. We've had our first visit with an outside group who came in to look at one of our Model Tech classrooms and view what was happening there.
So the Model Tech classroom works by selecting teachers to participate. So here are some of the brave faces of our first Model Tech teachers who represent a wide range of grade levels and disciplinary contents. Each educator personalizes their journey through modification. The goal in this journey is to create an environment where visitors are welcome to come and to visit to observe what good use of technology in a classroom might look like. It is a learning journey, and reflection is imperative to identifying the growth that is represented through our teachers. To honor this journey, the Model Tech teachers share their experiences, both positive and negative, through blogging and publishing for an authentic audience. Please take time to visit this blog, to read about this blog, and to share their experiences with your teachers and others so that their work can be visible. When you have some time, maybe take a little bit of a moment to listen to their journey through their own words. Here are 2 examples of that. Here are a few meaningful kind of reflections pulled out of the bigger blogs. So take a minute and read through how these experiences have transformed things for our teachers here in the school district of Waukesha. And here is a day in the life. So it's all about growth mindset. This was our first visit to a model classroom. Notice that it is tech artfully integrated. It is tech usage when instructionally appropriate, and it is not technology for the sake of technology. It is not a replacement of good teaching.
Last message that we'd like to share with you is the idea that while we do have a capacity in how many Model Tech classrooms we can work with because of the investment of one-on-one coaching, we really want you to think about how can you encourage somebody in your building, in your network, to come in and view some of the Model Tech classrooms that are just getting up and running with their sharing and visitation schedules. While we're certainly open to working with people in your building who may eventually become a Model Tech classroom teacher, more importantly, the idea is about spreading that vision. And so certainly feel free to reach out to any of us on the Instructional Tech Coordinator team to talk about getting started with a visit, and we can work forward from there. Thanks for your time.